Oh, Marshman. Long time no see. What's up, cuz?
I just thought I'd check in and see how you're holding up.
Oh, me? I'm styling. What am I? I'm doing the big quarantino. I'm serving mankind in my own way.
You feeling okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I'm starting to get a little stir crazy. Stuck here with Judy and the kids. I love them, but they're driving me up the wall.
You see, that's what you get for having a family. Me? I hang around all day. Nobody bothers me. Nobody bothers me. It's great. Just me taking care of business.
Pretty unique in this series in that it was a bit more of a slice of life rather than a cohesive narrative. It was just a conversation between two old friends who are catching up after the beginning of quarantine. There's a great juxtaposition between the two of them. One is a character that pops up later on in the series a couple times, and he's living with his family, and we end up learning a little bit more about how his family is driving him crazy through this lockdown, while his friend is making the most of it, spending his time alone and enjoying his personal time, as he likes to say. The two of them are really funny and play off of each other super well, neither of which ends up being sort of the straight man, but they feel like they both think they are, which generates a lot of comedy. Obviously seasoned actors and writers behind this, because it just feels so smooth even though so little happens, and they managed to pack a lot of jokes into a short period of time, which is very fun.
I really enjoyed this short. I thought it was a great pairing of two actors. They just really had two completely different energies, and you could feel the chemistry between them, so that was really fun to watch. But yeah, I really loved the crying bit where he like touches his face. You're not supposed to touch your face line. It was really funny. So yeah, there were a bunch of good moments throughout.
It was really great. It was very funny. Both Robert Wuhl and Donnie Most are two of my favorites, and they're wonderful in this. The writing is so great. It's so tight, and it feels so real and natural, and it sounds like something these guys would say. I love the insinuation that that one of them might have COVID, and just the back and forth between that and about that. It's really very, very good. I like the editing. I love the editing, cutting to the both of them at some points and then to one of them at some points. It really keeps the pace, and it makes it feel like it's not just a Zoom call, but that I'm a part of it. So it was really great. I liked it so much, and I can't wait to watch the rest of these because they're really, really good. Congratulations.
So I thoroughly enjoyed watching Old Buddies. I thought the chemistry between the characters was super great. They really did feel like they were old friends. And it was just, really funny. It reminded me a lot of my grandpa, and I think it captured the paranoia of the virus, especially in like the early, like 2020, the paranoia that a lot of people could probably relate to. And it was just kind of nostalgic of that time, which I thought was, interesting to looking back on it, and 2 years later. I thought the splatter on the camera was a funny touch, and I think it just captured the early pandemic super well. So good job.
I thought this was great, especially because it's fun and interesting to see people kind of like, I wouldn't say like the complete opposite ends of the spectrum as far as like taking the pandemic seriously, but they're certainly not occupying the same level. And so seeing them interact, because it was true in friendships. This is the kind of situation that happened, and like you really find out things about people that a global pandemic will shed light about friends you've had for a long time or whatever else that you just never really had to like go through and like confront before, like vaccines and wearing masks and like all these different subjects that now 2+ years in, like, or just about 2 years in, is like normal conversation. But back, like, before, pre-pandemic, like, no one ever talked about masks. You don't really even talk about being vaccinated, not in the same way that we do now. And so seeing like from a comedian, and like from like a really like well done like comedic standpoint, like someone that like is very, very anxious about the pandemic and has all of this anxiety and like trying to deal with it the best way that he can, and then his friend who is like very like chill and relaxed about it, and like clearly they're old friends and have been friends for a really long time, and seeing just how they interact, because they clearly still have that base of friendship. Like he still knew how to like get him breathing and like calming him down as the panic attack was like starting to happen. But like even with all of that, like it's still really interesting. It's a great dynamic, and it was like done really, really well.
What I definitely like about this one is this is very relatable in the sense of going back 2 years, talking with friends. I feel like every group had their two extremes when it came to COVID and the pandemic. You had that friend who took it too seriously, and then you had the friend who didn't take it seriously enough. And I feel like this short gave us both extremes in the same room together. Because I really feel like we all had that friend who, like, if you coughed or even sniffed on camera, they would point at you and go like, "You have COVID, stay away from me," even though you're like locked down. Then you had the other friend who, you know, didn't take it seriously at all and was like, "Relax, it's fine," and you were just terrified for their well-being. And yeah, it definitely dragged me back to those days where I guess we weren't as desensitized to it yet, and we were all still like, they mentioned the toilet paper crisis. Like, I guess the biggest thing is just it's so surreal that in a few weeks it's going to officially be 2 years since we were put on lockdown, and that's nuts. So yeah, this one definitely, it's very relatable, and it reminded me of those times, because it still feels like it was yesterday, but it's been 2 years, which is crazy.